They don't fear loud people. They don't fear strong people. They fear these people. Because these 5 tactics don't just annoy a narcissist, they break their control. And once you use them, you'll never see them the same way again. A narcissist doesn't need your love. They need your reaction, your attention, your emotions, your validation. That's their fuel. But what happens when someone stops giving them exactly that? That's when things get dangerous. Because the moment you remove their control, they start to lose power. And these 5 tactics, they hate them for a reason. Let's start with the first one, the one that confuses them the most. You expect them to explode, to argue, to defend themselves. But instead, you give them nothing. No anger, no emotion, no reaction. At first, they push harder, they provoke, they test you, because in their mind, why isn't this working? You just broke their script. Narcissists rely on predictable reactions. When you remove that, they feel out of control. And that feeling, they can't stand it. But here's where it gets interesting. What happens when silence isn't enough? Most people say they have boundaries, but they don't enforce them. You do. No. That's it. No explanation, no over-justifying, no guilt. Just no. At first, they'll laugh, then they'll push, then they'll try to guilt you. But when you don't move, that's when the mask starts to crack. Because a narcissist doesn't respect words. They respect limits they can't cross. And when they realize you're serious, they don't just get frustrated, they get threatened. But this next tactic, this one doesn't just threaten them, it exposes them. Most people argue about one situation. You don't. You connect the dots. You did this last time, and the time before that. Now it's not a mistake, it's a pattern. And patterns are dangerous for them because they destroy their favorite weapon, plausible deniability. They can't say that never happened because now you have evidence, and suddenly they're not in control of the story anymore. That's when they might flip the script, blame you, gaslight you, and if you're not ready for that, you'll fall right back into their game, unless you use the next tactic. This is where most people fail. They understand the problem, but they're still emotionally hooked. You're not. You stop seeking approval. You stop chasing closure. You stop needing them to understand. And that changes everything. Because now they can't control you through emotion. No guilt works. No manipulation works. No drama pulls you back in. You become unavailable. And to a narcissist, that's terrifying. Because if they can't control your emotions, they can't control you. But there's one final tactic, the one they hate more than anything. You don't argue. You don't explain. You don't try to fix things. You just leave. No final message, no emotional goodbye, no dramatic ending. Just silence. And that silence, it drives them insane. Because narcissists need the last word. They need control of the ending. But you take that away, and now they're left with something they can't handle. Unfinished control. They'll try to come back. They'll test you again. They'll act like nothing happened. But if you stay gone, that's when they realize they lost. But here's the part no one tells you. They don't accept the loss right away. At first, they pretend it didn't happen. They act normal, casual, like you were never important. But behind that, they're watching, checking your activity, your posts, your silence. Because in their mind, you're supposed to come back. And when you don't, that's when the shift happens. They start remembering you differently. Not as someone they controlled, but as someone they couldn't. And that creates something dangerous inside them. Obsession. Now suddenly, you're special, you're different, you're the one that got away. But notice this, they didn't value you when you stayed. They value you because you left. And this is where most people mess up, because the moment the narcissist comes back with better words, fake change, or sudden affection, people fall for it again. But if you don't, if you stay exactly where you are, calm, silent, detached, something breaks inside them. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly. Because for the first time, they're not in control of the story. You are. And that realization, it doesn't just frustrate them, it haunts them.
Here's the truth most people don't realize. Narcissists don't hate you. They hate the version of you they can't control. The quiet one, the calm one, the one who doesn't react, doesn't chase, and doesn't need them. Because that version of you is free. And once you become that person, you don't just win the game, you stop playing it completely. And that is what they fear the most.